Well, hello there, random person on the internet who hopefully plays Magic, because otherwise this video will make no sense. Also, this is my first video, so welcome to the channel Brewer's Kitchen, where we play spicy decks. Yeah, here's an intro. Yeah, don't we all love that? When a deck just works, you draw the right cards in the right order at the right time and your combo never gets countered. And all your creatures, they stay on the battlefield, you know? Magical Christmas land. Well, do I have some good news for you, because you just bought a ticket to that very place. It's not really a ticket, it's more like a deck list. It doesn't really look like a ticket, it looks more like this. Yeah, we see some stuff we know and love. You know, Uro, standard all-star right now. Casualties of War, that's definitely something you want to ramp into. And repeated reverberation? We better start from the beginning here. As you could have probably imagined right now, the plan of the deck is to cast repeated reverberation and then copy Casualties of War. But that's 10 mana! You're never gonna pull that off! Yeah, I mean, that's true, but with Fires of Invention it's only 6 mana. And to get there, we just need a little bit of ramp, preferably on turn 2, to ramp us into 4 mana on turn 3. And look at this growth spiral here, doing exactly what we wanted to do. Now use a good boy, huh? Use a good boy! Back to the deck tech. Now, the next jump we need to take is from 5 to 6 mana to get in the Casualties range. That's why we got Golos and Escape into the Wilds. Both do a little bit more than just ramping, but they just fit perfectly in the deck. You'll see why. And we got Uro. It gains us life, it ramps us, it draws us cards. It's a pretty decent alternate win condition if the whole Fires plan doesn't work. So Uro, great inclusion in the deck. Let's get to the interaction part. Now, to pull off our little combo, if you want to call it that, we need to stay alive in the early game. We got Bonecrusher Giant and Brazen Boar to keep some tempo in the early game. And then, if the board gets too wide, we got Storm's Wrath. And if the board gets anything really, we got Casualties of War, which is pretty good in most matchups, even if you don't copy it. And as in every good combo deck, we need something to find our pieces. And for that we got Temur. She finds our combo pieces, digs us into the deck, fuels our graveyard for escaping Uro, and sometimes the opponent just forgets about her passive ability and casts like a Thought Erasure or something for that sweet animation value. And you know, Magic Arena, that might be enough for the opponent to shame scoop, so alternative win condition maybe? It's not, but it's pretty good in the deck. And if all of that was not enough for you, we got Fae of Wishes to get us access to the sideboard, and that is just packed full of one-offs and answers for every situation. Now, we don't have time to go over all of them, but there's a link in the description with a deck list and a sideboard breakdown, so check that out if you're interested. For now, you just need to know we usually get our repeated reverberation, our Casualties of War, or like Escape into the Wilds to get our own game plan going. What, you want all 3 of those cards? Well, just copy the Fae of Wishes with the repeated reverberation and get 3 cards out of your sideboard, whatever you want, whatever you need, and that is what we call value, god damn! Boy! With that said, let's get into some games and let's see how the deck does. Game 1, we're up against Jakey. Now that's not a good hand, we mulligan. This one we keep, we bottom the Brazen Borrower and just hope for a Fires of Invention. Play Breeding, pull tapped. Opponent Fabled Passage, passes back, we shock in a Stomping Ground to play a Growth Spiral. Opponent fetches a Mountain and places Stomping Ground tapped. Now we Growth Spiral, play the Temple of Mystery, scry the land to the bottom, and well, if we draw it right here, we got it, and whoa! That's the Fires of Invention. Now we are in business. Now we do Growth Spiral here, since we do not know what we're up against yet. Probably Gruul, but we don't know. Might be Temur Adventures. Opponent, Gruul Spellbreaker. Now they are actually Gruul, and well, we could Fae of Wishes for a Enter the God Eternals here, but I think we go the value route and get the Escape into the Wilds and just wrath the board, which is a bit greedy. I mean, they could have Questing Beast. Oh, they do have Questing Beast, so that's a punish. We can deal with that though. Another fires for the draw. We play Escape into the Wilds and draw a lot of goodies. Now we play the Golos here, getting us the Labyrinth, which is crazy good in the matchup. So play an additional land and pass the turn. Opponent ambushes the Golos. Well, we didn't really plan on doing something with it anyways. Place a Pellet Collector, attacks for 5. We repeated Reverberation and Fae of Wishes again. Now that's a little bit greedy here. We get repeated Reverberation, Casualties of War, and enter the God Eternals, which is good in the matchup. Now we do have the Labyrinth here, which will keep the Questing Beast from attacking, so go down to 6, let's see. Opponent plays a Clothes, not bad in the matchup. We draw another Casualties and, well, here we go. Repeated Reverberation, Casualties of War, and that's a blowout right there. Now we can't destroy the Clothes, but the rest of the board is just free for destruction, so get them down to just 1 Forest and 1 Clothes, and that should be game. Opponent exiles a card. Passes the turn, okay. So in order not to die here to a Bone Crusher, we play the Fae of Wishes and enter the God Eternals just for the life gain. I know it's a bit sad, but you gotta do what you have to do. We go back up to 8. Opponent exiles a card, shoots us for 2 and passes back. Now we pretty much got this. We just gotta see that we win here. We play the Fae of Wishes, bounce it back to our hand, discarding Storm's Wrath and Fires of Invention, and play a Bone Crusher Giant for aggro. We gotta try to kill him some way. Opponent exiles a card and passes the turn, okay. So we Fae of Wishes for a plain white Celebration, since we need to get some life to really get this game out of hand for the opponent. Gain 12 life, return a Fae of Wishes, attack for 8 and pass the turn. Opponent exiles a card and scoops. Okay, so that's game 1. Game number 2 now. This hand, it got the fires, it got the Casualties of War, so let's see where we get. Ooh, we're playing against Mono Red here with a Scorched Spitter on turn 1. Tap land go. We bottom the land, we don't need more of them. We just need to survive. Turn 2 Steamkin? No. Yes, okay. So we just play a land and plan on bouncing the Steamkin with the Brazen Borer just to get some tempo. Opponent, Kai'Sal Embereth, Scorched Spitter, number 2. Attacks. And we bounce the Steamkin. Now, they will replay it probably, but you gotta do what you gotta do with this deck to stay alive, you know? So, turn 3, we play an Uro, play the Temple and scry. We don't need another land, and pass. Now the 3 life do really matter against burn. Opponent attacks and Amber Cleave. Sure. That is bad. We go down to 9 and, well... Well, we gotta just hope our opponent doesn't attack, I guess. We play the fires since it doesn't really cost anything, and then crack a Fabled Passage to thin the deck and play Fae of Wishes as a blocker? So we don't die, maybe? Well, yeah, that's bad. So we get absolutely abolished here. That can happen against Mono Red, I think we all know that, but usually the Mono Red matchup isn't that bad, so next game. We're on the play here with a very promising hand. We got the fires, we got interaction, let's see. Opponent, Lightning Bolt Steve and Mono Red, but no play, so we might get our revenge here against Mono Red. They don't have a 1-drop, and we draw an Uro. Keeping the stomp up, maybe the opponent play something we can... Yeah, that's definitely something we can stomp. So, stomp the Robber of the Rich. Now, shock in the breeding pool, play the Uro, gain 3 life back, and this game is looking pretty good here. We draw a Golos, play the Temple, and definitely keeping that Labyrinth on top. So next turn we can Fires of Invention into Golos, have 6 mana, and then we can Casualties. So if we draw that repeated Reverberation here, we can completely obliterate the opponent next turn. So let's hope, let's see. Our opponent plays a Bone Crusher just as a 4-3, just getting some aggro going. We playing the Fires into Golos, get a Scryland, and let's see. Growth Spiral, that's not what we want. I mean, we would probably win even without repeated Reverberation, but you gotta deliver some bad beats sometimes, especially against Mono Red. 2 Rimrock Knights, that might be... Ooh, boy! Let's go! Casualties of War times 3, and this should be game here. Get destroyed. Okay, now this was the nuts. This was just complete annihilation. And we can even attack with the Golos here. This should be it. I mean, if they have the Fervent Champion here, they can do 1 damage, and they actually have it. Okay, but it's gonna get lost in the Labyrinth, and that's a scoop, right? That's too much. That is too much. That's our revenge here. That was a pretty nutty game. Game number 4, we have all 3 colors, something to do with it. Some ramp, some interaction, some payoff and payoff wishes, so that's a keep. Opponent leading up with Temur colors and a Clover, so that is Temur Adventures. Now, Casualties of War is pretty good in the matchup, let's see how we do. We bounce the Lucky Clover before they can get value out of it. I do that, I don't know if it's really correct, but okay. Opponent replays the Lucky Clover. We draw the Fires of Invention. Now we can play an untapped land here, so we just pass the turn, no reason in running out the Fae early. Now there's an Edgewall Innkeeper and a Bone Crusher Giant. Drawing them a card, that's okay. We play the Fires of Invention and rough the board. Opponent Lovestruck Beasts gets 2 tokens and plays the beast. Now they can't attack if the tokens don't stick though, so... Oh yeah, so we better keep that Storm Wrath on top. We play an Uro, draw the Wrath, and cast Fae of Wishes to get Casualties of War, because we gotta get rid of that Lucky Clover at some point here. Opponent attacks for 7, that's okay. We go down to 14. Ooh, that's a great henge. We have to destroy that at some point as well. It is an artifact, so we draw a Bone Crusher, rough the board, play a Tamio. Now, the Lovestruck Beast cannot attack if there's not a 1-1 on their side, and if they play another Edgewall Innkeeper, for example, it would get a counter from the Great Henge, so that's not a 1-1. Now, if they do have another Lovestruck Beast and make tokens, those are 1-1s, and then they could attack Tamio, but we just risk it. Play Tamio, plus her for repeated Reverberation, because, I mean, you gotta... Oh, yeah, we actually get one because magic is just easy. Opponent Fae of Wishes copies it with the Lucky Clover, gets a Return to Nature for Fires of Invention, but we can get it back with the Tamio. Also, we can use our untapped mana here, so play Brazen Borrower and Bone Crusher in their turn, since the Claws of Fires isn't active anymore. Minus Tamio, get back that Fires. Play the Fires. And play land, Scry to the top. Yeah, that Labyrinth is always good. Now we have to Casualty here. We just have to get rid of the Great Henge and the land, so swing for 3. Opponent not having... Oh, okay. Now they have blue again. Gets 2 islands. Shocks in a Steam Vents. That's weird. Okay. We plus Tamio for Casualties of War. And obviously we get one as well. Play repeated Reverberation. Probably getting negated, but okay. That's eating the negate, and I mean, we just play the Uro here. We can get the repeated Reverberations back next turn with Tamio, so gotta keep that value in mind. And Uro is not bad as well. Opponent, double Stomps or Tamio. That is sad, but okay. Plays the Fae of Wishes. We draw a land, and now we just have to Casualties again. Opponent Bone Crushers last time with the Lucky Clover here before it gets destroyed, and now they're empty-handed and empty-boarded, so let's press that advantage. Attack with Uro, draw a Growth Spiral. We play a Bone Crusher Giant for attacking and pass the turn. Now opponent in a pretty hard situation here. Bone Crusher Giant as a blocker and another Bone Crusher Giant as chump blockers. We swing. Opponent most likely chump blocking. And blocking one. Oh! Oh! And that's a stomp for lethal, and that's GG. What a great game. So you're probably asking, how's that control matchup with this deck? And let me tell you, it's horrible. Like, usually Fires of Invention decks play threats, especially hasty threats like Kendrith or Cavalier Flame, or like a Planeswalker, but we don't do that. We just want one turn, just untap with the Fires of Invention, and then we are good. But Azuria's control is not really known for letting you do that, so this match here, I'm sorry, it was just so long and we lost horrible. Like, there's this moment against control where you just know, ooh, I could scoop now, but maybe, yeah, you probably lost at this point. So there was one interesting situation though here where we blow up a Teferi with a Storm's Wrath, and while it goes to the graveyard, we opened the preview, and I just realized this during editing, but look at this loyalty count, it's just completely glitched out. So what I thought was happening here is that this is the maximum amount of loyalty counters a Planeswalker could have. There's not really a way to try that out in Arena with a card pool, but yeah, instead I just googled it and it seems to be the case. So that's interesting. Looks pretty funny, I don't know. It's kind of cool. Back to the control matchup. If they have it, and they obviously don't always have it, but it kind of seems like they do. If they have it, if they have the counter, the interaction, it's so frustrating to play against them, and it's so hard to get anything going. But like it wasn't enough already with the control stuff. Our opponent didn't even let us go out in style and countered our last Casualties of War, which was even targeting our land. So that's pretty mean, but that's also a pretty hard power move on their part. So that was nice, and that is GG. And let's see how the next one goes. We're up against Narwhal here, and let's see. Now look at that hand. That's a turn 3 Fires of Invention, and we just need one more land and have a lot of scries and 2 draws to find it. Also on the play, this is just what you're looking for here. Play the scry land, keep that temple on top. That's the 4th land we are looking for. Opponent, Temple of Epiphany, passes back. We pass back with Growth Spiral in mind here. Opponent, another Temple of Mystery. We Growth Spiral. Play the temple, Growth Spiral to the bottom, play the Fires of Invention, and opponent opts. Okay, we cast the Fae of Wishes, get an Escape into the Wilds just for value for next turn, setting up some things. Opponent, Temur colors, no play, so that's probably Temur Reclamation. We cast the Escape into the Wilds. Our plan Uro, draw the Repeated Reverberation. Now we are getting closer and closer to our combo here. Opponent Growth Spirals. Play an additional land from the Escape. Opponent plays an opt. Reclamation time? It's Reclamation time, so it's Temur Reclamation. Not a bad matchup, actually. We can destroy the Reclamation with the casualties, get a land, play an Uro. Play another Fires, in case they have like Brazen Borer or something. Opponent plays a Crosses for 4. Untaps their lands and passes back without holding priority. That's great. Repeated Reverberation. And no counter, so that is 3 cards right from the sideboard. And we get Repeated Reverberation, we get Thought Distortion, and we get our Casualties of War here. Attack with an Uro, draw a Bone Crusher. Opponent, no jump block, understandable. Thassa's Intervention, getting them some cards. Crassus gets lost in the Labyrinth, another Wilderness Reclamation, and an Uro. So that's a lot of mana for our opponent. Let's see what they do with it. They untap their lands, tap their lands. Okay, they see the Thought Distortion, so not sure if loading up their hand is great here with an Expansion Explosion. Opponent does nothing. Okay, that's value. We draw a Storm's Wrath, and I'm sorry, we do not cast Thought Distortion. I don't know why I didn't do it, but I guess we were just greedy here. We obviously get countered. That's okay. Thought Distortion is still a 3-for-1, but I know that's a misplay. I misplayed that. I'm sorry. We attack with an Uru. We're still in a great position here, okay? Put a land into play, right to the bottom. Could have played it a bit better. Just attack with Uru, pass the turn. Opponent plays a temple, so draws a temple, checks out that labyrinth and realizes there's no point in attacking, passes back and... Okay, we're just doing it right here. Draw the repeated reverberation, cast Casualties of War, get that grasses, get that wilderness reclamation, and probably get our opponent to scoop. Let's go! That's it. That's GG. And that is also the end of this video. So, if you want to try out the deck for yourself, check out the deck list in the description. If you like this video, consider giving it a like. Subscribe for more, and if you want me to try to build around a specific card or mechanic, just let me know in the comments. You can also follow me on Twitter if you want my hot takes on new spoilers and all things Magic related. And with that said, let's see you in the next one, where I hopefully don't mess up the gameplay audio again. Yeah.